cho Datio quảng cáo chưa chén xíu nha, có khóa học tháng 4 rồi đó các bạn ơi, mau đăng ký không là hết chỗ đó ahihi.
Hey guys,
Hello.
it's us again. Remember from the previous video? So the reason why I'm making this video today is to have a little chat with our friend Thơ here, so that she can share her experience when it comes to speaking, because she got an amazing score in the IELTS speaking exam, an 8.5. Yay! I guess you guys are getting sick of seeing me talking all the time, right? So that's why I'm bringing a new guest today to sort of spice it up a little bit, okay? So we're just gonna have a very informal chat because I would like to know more about your secret to getting such an admirable score for the speaking exam. So I got a few questions and I'm gonna ask you, okay? So
Okay, sure.
let's help our viewers get better at speaking.
Sure.
Alright, so I know that you got an 8.5 in speaking, which is very rare in Vietnam and all over the world, for that matter. So, did you expect to get such a high score, and how did you feel when you actually got it?
Well, before I took the test, I had expected a maximum 8. But after I left the examination room, I was actually really worried because I felt like I made so many mistakes, but the results turned out to be 8.5, and I was so relieved and overjoyed, and mostly relief. Yeah.
You know, most of the time when we go into the test room, we are very nervous, and when we go out of it, we feel relieved, but also nervous, but in a different way, because sometimes you just don't give yourself enough credit because you may have done very well, and you still, don't have enough confidence in yourself. So I guess that's the case for you, probably.
No, well, it was because a mistake that it was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed by it. Well, and at that moment, I was supposed to say, green grass, and I ended up saying green weed. And that was, the words slipped from my mouth, and I was like, what the heck happened to me?
Did you actually say that?
I actually said that. And
Oh, and how did the examiner react to that?
he wanted to laugh, but because it's his job, he's not supposed to be laughing, so
He was like holding it in.
Yeah. Really weed. I can't
Weed.
Weed.
You guys should look it up on Google. Alright, so let's move on to a more serious topic, more serious question, okay?
Okay.
What did you do on test day that actually helped you achieve this score? Yeah.
Well, I feel like people are so worried about part 2 and part 3, and that, part 1 can actually be ignored. But I feel like I try to excel and do my best in every single part, especially part 1, because I feel like it's the part when you can leave the examiner with a strong and positive impression. And I am the person that believes that a good impression can have a huge impact on the score that you receive.
That's very much the case. That's very true, because I believe that first impressions are always important. Once you have left like a bad first impression, it's very hard to shake that later on, right? You gotta do a lot to make up for your first impression. So yeah, why not just create a very positive first impression once you start? And it's also a good opportunity for us to warm up to the test, because when I took the test the first time, the last time that I took it, I was very nervous during the first few questions, but then I warmed up to it, and then I got more confident and I felt more laid back in the test, and it actually helped me do a lot better in part 2 and 3 because I was more relaxed.
The case is actually true for me too.
Yeah. Alright, let's move on to question number 3. And this is I think it's a burning question for a lot of people, especially people who go to high school.
Burning question. Okay. I'm nervous.
Okay, you got an overall 8, and you're also a senior in one of the top high schools in Vietnam, Lang Phong High School. So how did you find the time to learn English while balancing with your schoolwork as well?
Schoolwork?
Yeah.
I mean, especially since I am a senior, the schoolwork can be very frustrating because there's too much homework and too much work that I have to put in. So I always prioritize schoolwork, but English I don't consider it learning because whenever I want to let my hair down or relax, I watch some YouTube videos. YouTube is basically my best friend, and I watch a lot of TV series, a lot of interview by American movie stars, and and also read books. And I guess that indulging myself in that kind of environment has really helped me to improve my English.
That's really great advice because for a lot of people, their pastimes are very different from yours. Like they may play sport, watch Vietnamese reality shows instead of English. You probably watch English reality shows a lot too.
Mostly. I don't really enjoy Vietnamese reality show. I think it's a little bit dull for me.
Okay. And I have a lot of students who spend a lot of time watching Korean drama and Hong Kong drama, which I think those kinds of drama are very captivating and very exciting, interesting as well, but it just doesn't help with improving your English. So I guess one of the key things to remember is to expose yourself to English while you're doing your hobbies, right? Which is the case for you.
Yes, it's true.
Right?
Even though I do watch Korean dramas and I do enjoy me some K-pop, I do prefer English content and when it comes to like entertainments and stuff.
So I think the key takeaway here, guys, is to make English part of your hobbies and not merely just something that you need to put aside time to learn, because it can be really boring. If you force yourself to just learn English, it can be a very monotonous and dull process. But if you expose yourself to English while having fun and relaxing, I guess it's gonna be much more effective. All right, Thư, you were a former student of mine, and I know it's been a while, but do you still remember some of the things that you picked up from the course that really helped you do well in the speaking test?
Well, you have some really cool tricks to answer whenever encountering a tricky question. I actually may use those phrases and those sentences in my test day.
Can you point out some examples?
Well, for example, I was asked about the sky, which, to be honest, it's really unusual to ask a person how often do you look at the sky.
We don't, right?
We don't ever actually. But I still managed to say, oh, that's a really unusual question. I've never actually thought about it. I was able to buy myself some time, and it was actually like 10 seconds, which is a long time for a person to gather your thoughts and give out a good answer, and that helps me a lot. And also, Mr. Dax here, pronunciation is pretty good.
It's not just pretty good.
It's top notch.
Thank you for the advertisement. So, what's your advice for people during test day?
I know it's really hard, but you try your best to calm yourself on the test day, and don't hesitate to ask. If you cannot understand the examiner, ask. If you don't understand a certain phrase in part 3, ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. And
but not if you ask
too much. Yeah, too much.
I think
don't do that.
I think you can ask the examiner to repeat the question at most twice. Not the third time.
The third time you can actually get deducted because
like you don't understand the question, right?
questions, and I also think that you have to do your best in every part. Don't ignore any part or take any part for granted. And that's my tips.
Well, do you have some other tips for students?
Well, I think that the number one tips, even though it's really hard, but I think that if you're calm, you can pretty much do anything, because when you're nervous, the words start to slip from your mind, and then you forgot all the vocab that you have learned.
I think even though you're at a very high level already, you actually mixed up 2 words, right?
Yes.
So those are the 2 words that astrology and astronomy.
Yes,
even
true.
she made a mistake too. Yeah, so don't worry if you're nervous. It's very natural. And I have something else to ask you. Did you enjoy the experience? Because for a lot of people, it's a very, taxing and very scary experience talking to the examiner. But does it help if you actually enjoy sharing the information with him?
I think of it as even though he's not, talking, I still want to treat him like a friend.
That's very
It
important.
sounds really weird, but I have to view him as a friend so that I feel more comfortable sharing information.
Do you show any emotions and passion when you spoke?
Oh yeah, emotion. That's a really important thing, because on that day I was actually really goofy.
Oh.
I try my best to be myself, and
Okay.
I think he likes it. He likes it.
So you were like your tone was like up and down, and not just like flat like a robot, right?
True.
So yeah, it's important to go up and down in your speech, okay, guys? And you need to show emotions, okay? Wow, that's quite a talk. Thank you too very much
Thanks for having
making
me
time
here.
today. I hope this little chat has been useful for those of you who are revising for the test. And if you like the video, please give it a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Hit it now. Okay guys, take care and I'll see you soon, alright?
Goodbye.
Bye.